Whether you buy your own tomatoes or you grow your own tomatoes, there are a couple neat things that you can do, especially if you're entertaining friends or family. But what you do is when you pick them when they're ripe, and you come on in and you slice them, and you create a whole meal with just tomatoes as maybe even an appetizer. And you just slice your tomatoes just like this, and you put them on a plate. And I love the golden tomatoes. These are just really great. And each tomato has a different flavor, different consistency. This is very thick. And I'm going to come in here and get another one of my favorites, green zebra, and just cut a nice big slice of green zebra. And I'll just arrange them on a plate. And so when I'm done, I just have a beautiful assortment of tomatoes. And they really do taste differently. This one here has a very distinct flavor, so you can taste them. Fantastic. Let's go look at a couple growing tips that'll help you have the best tomato. Tomatoes perform the best in cages for me. But the real key is to make sure that you have large cages. These cages are at least 30, and I might even recommend 36, and I'm even thinking of going to 40 inches in diameter. I made these cages myself because they're hard to find that are really substantial and sturdy, and they need to make sure you have openings in them so you can pick the tomatoes. But when you plant your tomatoes, it's important to set the cage right then and there. The other thing that I've learned over the years is the farther you space your cages and plants apart, the better the production, the more production you'll get, and the nicer and more attractive fruit you'll get, and even you'll get a more extended production. So don't be afraid to put your cages 4 to 5 feet apart. In fact, sometimes I like to put them 6 feet apart. Many of us will face a common problem in growing tomatoes, especially if you're growing the heirloom tomatoes, which I almost call a disease magnet. These are varieties that have been handed down year after year because of their flavor and their taste and their size. But what you find with these tomatoes is they don't have the disease resistance built into them like some of the newer forms. And one of the most common diseases that we're going to see in our gardens is known as early blight or late blight. And that's where the bottom portion of the plant, the leaves start turning yellow. They get a little bit of spots to them, and then they completely die back. A couple things you can do is keep those leaves picked off, in many cases by hand, some cases by shears, or you can use fungicides according to label directions if you do use fungicides. The key with a lot of fungicides is that you have to use them as a preventative. So mark your calendar when you experience these problems in your garden, and then so you know next year, well, 2 weeks prior to that, maybe I need to use a preventative for my diseases. Just a couple other things to help you grow the very best tomatoes. I don't plant mine early in the season. I sometimes don't even plant them till July 1st. There's nothing gained by planting early. Plant them when the nights are above 50 degrees in temperature. The other advantage to cages is I don't have to prune my tomatoes. I just take the new shoots or the shoots that grow outside the cage and just gently bend them in, just kind of put them in and hook them on a leaf just like that. The other thing is you always have to have a favorite tomato, and one of my favorites is the garden peach. It looks, it feels like a peach. It's even fuzzy. Just fill a bowl facing one way and, have one of your friends come in and just say, try one of my new peaches, and the seeds will explode everywhere, but it's got the very best flavor. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, use the internet to click on the In the Garden website. That's www.inthegardenradio.com.